It was quite a game between Egypt and Ghana. It finished 2 apiece, but the big story coming out of it, Mo Salah, just before half-time, indicating that he needed to come off. As it stands, we don't really have much more news on the injury. The coach coming out afterwards and pretty much saying exactly that, hoping it's not too serious. The big report was that Mo Salah was walking, okay, and smiling.
Oh.
So we can...
Well, I'm an expert in that front.
Of smiling
so
or walking.
I feel that I should pitch in. Well, I think one of the big concerns, obviously, if he's got an injury, we don't know how bad it is not just, you know, what's the length of the injury? Is it a few days? Is it weeks? But are Egypt going to try and risk playing him and making it worse? Because it's a big tournament for them.
Of course.
And they're not too fussed about how Liverpool do in the Premier League. They're concerned about how they do in this African Cup of Nations. And they're going to try and take some chances with Mo Salah.
Yeah.
That's the big concern for Liverpool going forward.
Would Liverpool have any input in that?
No. This is entirely Egypt's decision. Between Egypt, between Egypt and Mo Salah, how Salah feels, how the injury is progressing. And of course, as Craig mentioned, in this tournament format, games are coming very quickly. So there really isn't a whole lot of time to rest and get yourself back to full fitness. So it's entirely Egypt's decision. Liverpool can call and ask, but truth be told, it's their decision.
And when you're in that scenario as a player, you're not thinking. Although I'm sure he loves Liverpool, he's been a great servant to them, and they've been great for him. He's a fantastic rapport with the supporters. But at this moment in time, kind of there in the back of his mind.
Okay.
Because it's such a big tournament for that part of the world that he's thinking about his country and how important it is for them. And I can feel it, but I'm going to take a chance.
Right.
And that's a kind of player's mentality. It's difficult to go to such a major tournament and say, I'm not sure, I've got to think about my club. Generally, players don't think that way.
And overall, you think it's a moot point to talk about the title race with Liverpool because you think Manchester City are the big favourites?
I think even with Mo Salah, Manchester City are favourites. For Liverpool to stand any chance at all, they need Mo Salah fully fit, not partially fit at all. Because while they have players who will come in and fit in, nobody does what Mo Salah does. And you can't fill that kind of a void, certainly in terms of goals, and hope to keep a pace with a Manchester City who seem to be hitting full form, their fullest form, which they seem to do every single year.
Last word, Craig?
Well, let's hope from a playing perspective that it's not too bad for club and country, and he comes back fit and well,
switched off there, chat.
And ready to go. And
the smile specialist.
That's the smile specialist.
And Jurgen Klopp is hoping the same thing. Let's get the hell off air here. Done.
Well, of course, in action at the weekend, and it's Fulham in the Carabao Cup. Meanwhile, elsewhere in the Africa Cup of Nations, we saw a big win for Nigeria, beating host Ivory Coast by 1-0.